We pulled up, set our brake, and saw this car fully involved.
Right now at 11, a Portland fire captain recalls the moments he helped save a woman trapped inside this burning car. Plus, catching up on big bills after a record-setting wildfire season, while there are already growing concerns about next year and later.
I've seen some people get shot. I've seen some people not make it.
Though when it comes to local gun violence, it appears the trend is now going in the right direction. A very good evening and welcome to the weekend. Depending on where you're at, it's either looking super soggy or extra snowy. It's a live look from our Wells Fargo and Timberline skycams here as we endure a series of storms that feels like it just does not want to let up in these final days of 2024. Well, thanks for joining us. David Molko here along with Chief Meteorologist Matt Svino. Matt, the National Weather Service also warning about sneaker waves. Sounds like it's going to be rough along the coast as well.
It has been rough pretty much all week at the coast, and that continues right now in Newport. It's not raining, so that's an improvement. You see some water, the wind on the water there a bit, but southwest winds at 20 miles an hour are down from where they were. We had some peak gusts that were fairly impressive, just a quick burst of wind. Now let's check the swells. They're still running 15, 18 feet offshore, which is why we've got the concern for sneaker waves and coastal flooding out along the Oregon and Washington coast. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. The marine forecast looks like this. Again, about 17 footers off the coast. They're going to come up, though, to about 21 feet, the swells will, before they drop down to 15 feet tomorrow. So, yes, rough on the nearshore waters for sure. Here are those peak wind gusts, though. Mount Hood, there's a weather gauge at 6,500 feet, recorded a gust of 73 miles an hour. Newport had a gust of 45, Salem 41, McMinnville just 29. It was a quick burst this evening around 8 o'clock or so, and the winds have really backed off since then. We may get a little bit more wind later on tonight, but nothing like the other night when we had damaging winds and power outages. So, as you can see, southwest winds at Aurora, southwest winds at Newport at 20, and Salem's at 23 miles an hour right now. So they are still just a bit gusty. We're getting a good break from the rain at the moment, but more showers will be pouring on shore in the overnight hours, and the rainfall so far, again, another ½ an inch roughly here in the valleys. We are well above average now for the month of December. So here's the wind forecast. We'll pause this at 4:15 in the morning. I know that's random, but that's when the winds pick up to about 30 miles an hour at the coast, about 25 miles an hour in the valley. So it will be a bit blustery overnight, but then the winds really back off during the day tomorrow before they ramp up again, potentially on Sunday morning, although I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal or that bad on Sunday, but it will be a wet weekend. So showers overnight, more steady rain on Sunday. We'll talk more about that heavy wet snow in the Cascades in a bit, David, and of course, we'll have the ski report too. Back to you.
Sounds great, Matt. See you in a few. Hey, new tonight, as the snowpack builds in the Cascades, we're still dealing with the aftermath of this year's record wildfire season, with those who work to keep our community safe finally getting paid after the state-approved new funding. Alma McCarty's in the newsroom with that update. Alma?
Well, David, this year's fire season was the most costly in Oregon history. And while the state is now catching up on its bills, there's growing concern that when it comes to these wildfires, this could be the new normal.
Managing a wildfire is costly.
All sorts of logistics and supplies that go into the wildland firefighting.
But state leaders say in a historic season, with the largest number of acres, 1.9 million ever burned in Oregon, it's never been as costly as this.
Thousands of firefighters and vendors working alongside with us all summer to suppress nearly 2,000 fires across the state. The bills had mounted up.
Derek Gasparini with the Oregon Department of Forestry explains those bills were more than the department had allocated, prompting the governor to call for a special session.
We did make some decisions, I think, in this session to really prioritize making sure that we are paying our bills, especially for those small vendors. And quite frankly, that is the reason that we are here.
Lawmakers approved the roughly $218 million bailout for both ODF and the Office of the State Fire Marshal on December 12th, and Governor Kotek signed it the next day. 2 weeks later, Gasparini says they are delivering on the commitment to get outstanding payments to wildland fire vendors as quickly as possible.
Basically, this 191.5 million from the legislature has allowed us to very nearly clear our accounts payable and get everyone that helped this year paid.
And next year, ODF officials and other state agencies plan to push to change how these efforts are funded, given fighting wildfires has grown more costly and complex.
We still need folks to answer the call when we need help for those wildfire suppression activities.
The long session kicks off in just about a month, with the governor also recognizing the need for millions more to fully fund wildfire readiness and mitigation programs. David?
Yeah, a challenge that's going to be with us for decades, if not generations. Thank you, Alma. Appreciate the follow-up here. Also new tonight, charges have been dropped for a Vancouver teacher accused of sexual misconduct with one of his students. Vancouver police telling us that is because the statute of limitations had expired. The case against Shadrigan Gatson stemmed from an alleged sexual relationship in 2013 between him and a then 16-year-old. Police say the overall investigation into Gatson is still open and that more accusers have come forward. Gatson has been on leave since last month. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, a crash on Highway 224 in Barton has turned deadly. Clackamas fire say this is near Bakers Ferry Road. Video from the scene shows what appears to be one vehicle on its side. The eastbound lane of the highway was shut for a few hours this evening, but has since reopened. In Woodburn, police are asking for help identifying the driver involved in a deadly hit and run. Just before 9 last night, officers say 44-year-old Nicholas Hernandez Mendoza was crossing Pacific Highway just north of Williams Avenue in a crosswalk when he was hit by a light-colored SUV. The driver left the scene while the victim died in the hospital. And in Northeast Portland, police say the victim and shooter involved in an overnight shooting near Cully Park likely knew each other. Authorities say the 18-year-old was shot around 11:30 last night and was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say they found a pistol in the victim's car. Video from the scene shows two vehicles were involved in some sort of crash. The shooter has not been arrested.
We run 3,000-4,000 calls out of our firehouse a year, and we don't oftentimes get that opportunity to talk to somebody that we saved.
So now they're hoping for that chance as we learn more tonight about the rescue of a driver who crashed into a tree and was trapped inside her burning car. That fire captain recalling how training and quick teamwork made all the difference. Celine Stevens with the update.
In my 25 years with Portland Fire, I've done two rescues similar to this. So yeah, it is very rare.
December 23rd, around 9 p.m., a driver hit a tree in her car right outside of Lincoln Memorial Park along southeast Mount Scott Boulevard.
We pulled up, set our brake, and saw this car fully involved and realized that this woman was still trapped in the car.
The woman made the 911 call herself to report the crash, but was unconscious by the time she was pulled out. Station 29 Fire Captain Shane Furrer and 3 other crew members joined Portland police who were already on scene. He says he initially worked on putting out the fire, while other crew members pulled the 47-year-old Portland woman out the car. Then he jumped in as a paramedic.
Everybody was doing exactly what needed to happen at the time, and that affected this woman's rescue and her life.
He says the time from his crew showing up to getting the woman out of the car and onto the ground was no more than a few minutes. A PPB officer initially started CPR on the woman. Furrer said she had a pulse, but breathing was difficult.
So we started to bag for her, basically breathing for her. And then we moved her to the ambulance where she was intubated.
Now, Furrer says as of Friday, she's still in the burn center, but most importantly, she's alive.
She's stable and she's sedated. So I'm going to try to get up to the burn center with the crew so we can visit with her. But they said that could be a couple weeks still.
Rick Graves with Fire and Rescue describes the crew's actions as amazing. And despite this only being the crew's 5th time all working together, their execution was seamless.
As soon as the door opens, there's almost no talking that goes on, and it was just one thing to the next. what needs to happen, and the steps were just automatic.
He calls it a significant save and says because of those responding crews, she will likely be able to enjoy next holiday season.
And it's going to allow that woman to continue to experience life. And it's not often we get the chance to do that.
Now, PPB says that woman has been cited with a DUI for alcohol as well as reckless driving. Portland Fire and Rescue says with New Year's Eve coming up to make plans ahead of time about how you're going to get home to keep yourself and others safe. In Southeast Portland, Celine Stevens, KGW News.
A good reminder and a cautionary tale there. Negotiations have started back up between Providence Health and the union representing thousands of its workers. A cooling off period has passed, meaning the Oregon Nurses Association could send a strike notice at any time, one that would trigger the first doctor strike in state history. It would include nurses and nurse practitioners, impacting more than a dozen locations. The union is required to give 10 days notice, and of course, we here will keep you updated.